WandaVision Episode 5 has just released on Disney+, and I have had a chance to watch Season 1's latest episode, which includes a shocking ending, Easter eggs, and more to break down. In particular, I'm going to be explaining the plot and ending for WandaVision Episode 5, entitled On a Very Special Episode, in the aim to help you guys gather a greater sense of what happened. This analysis will also contain spoilers, so if you do happen to be someone who hasn't watched episode 5 of WandaVision, then I would recommend watching this video after you've caught up. If you want to see more videos on all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a like rating. But without further ado, let's dive into my breakdown and explained video for episode 5 of WandaVision Season 1. So episode 5 may have just possibly laid the groundwork for the X-Men's entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At the very end of the new episode, Quicksilver arrives at the Vision residence to greet his very surprised sister, Wanda Maximoff. Now, this is weird on multiple counts. For one, Wanda's brother, Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver, died in Avengers Age of Ultron. So if you expected another character to be resurrected, you would think it would be the Taylor Johnson version of the character. Secondly, Peter's Quicksilver is not only called Peter Maximoff, but is the son of Magneto, so he comes from Fox's X-Men universe. How is this happening? Well, for one, Disney acquired Fox a couple of years ago, which gives Marvel Studios the license to bring in characters from X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, and beyond. In fact, a Ryan Reynolds-led Deadpool 3 is in development for the MCU, and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige announced a Fantastic Four reboot back in December. There was no talk of an X-Men return then, but I guess we now know why. That Quicksilver reveal is a huge moment for the MCU, though it won't make as much sense to people who didn't watch any of the 3 recent X-Men films. But if you want to see more of him after WandaVision Episode 5, I'd suggest sticking to Days of Future Past. It is a bit strange that Peter's Quicksilver responds to Pietro, as a teary-eyed Wanda calls him, though I suppose Marvel will explain that in future WandaVision episodes, along with the potential introduction of the Multiverse. That moment was a standout in more than one way, as it also bore no connection to everything else that occurred on WandaVision Episode 5, directed by Matt Shakman and written by Peter Cameron and Mackenzie Dorr. Episode 5 opens in the 80s with a 16.9 aspect ratio that sitcoms carry through to this day. Wanda and Vision have trouble putting their twins Tommy and Billy to sleep, and after Wanda sends Vision to fetch their pacifiers, she even tries using her powers to quiet them to no success. And the pacifiers don't keep them quiet for too long either. Enter the common neighbour Agnes, who volunteers to be the nice aunt and babysitter. Vision is a little hesitant about her offer though, which leads Agnes to turn to Wanda and break her spell, asking her if she should run it again. It's like the actor is asking the filmmaker if they should give the shot another take. Vision is naturally put off by all of this, and Wanda, the orchestrator of this sitcom-y world, does her best to calm his concerns. He's not quite convinced, but they realise the children have stopped crying. They walk to their cribs to discover that the twins have disappeared, only to transform into 2 5-year-olds, calling Wanda and Vision Mum and Dad. Agnes seems to not really question the matter, and it has us continuing to ask different questions. But after an 80s themed title sequence, which now consists of the 5-year-old Tommy and Billy, the programming resumes on the other side of Westview, with Captain Monica Rambeau processing her stint inside the town. FBI agent Jimmy Woo pays her a visit along with Dr. Darcy Lewis, who reveals herself to be a huge Monica fan. The doctor says she isn't pleased with Monica's brain scans and blood work, but Monica isn't having any more of it. She gets up and changes to attend a sword briefing where acting director Tyler Hayward paints Wanda as the villain of the story, noting she came to the fore as the Avengers antagonist in Age of Ultron, and mentions her out-of-control behaviour in Lagos and Germany from Captain America Civil War. Hayward points out that Wanda is holding thousands of people hostage, and then reveals that she stole Vision's dismantled body from Sword HQ before resurrecting him. Episode 4 seemingly revealed that Vision was dead after all, but now Episode 5 seems to be hinting that he might actually have returned from the dead. Hayward notes that Wanda's actions go against Vision's will in that he didn't want to be anybody's weapon, and Wu adds that it's also in violation of the Sokovia Accords. Hayward also further clues us in on the timeline of WandaVision. Wanda stole Vision's body just 9 days ago, so everything we've seen yet has happened in that time frame. In total, WandaVision takes place about a month or so after the events of Avengers Endgame and several months before Spider-Man Far From Home. Later, back inside the sitcom world, Tommy and Billy come across a small dog they want to keep. Wanda isn't sure that they are ready to take care of a living thing, but she then falls in love with the animal itself. Vision and Agnes walk in one after the other, with the latter carrying a ready-made kennel. The fact that Agnes seems to always put herself at the front of Wanda's needs is a way of hinting for WandaVision. Note the dinner ingredients she showed up with in episode 1, and now a full-blown doghouse. Wanda is also doing less to conceal herself around Agnes, which naturally invites questions from Vision, since they were supposed to conceal their identities to stay in Westview. Wanda's reply is that she is tired of hiding herself. As for the dogs, Vision believes the boys won't be ready until they are 10 years old to take care of one. But in response, the twins once again age themselves up in seconds, growing into the 10-year-olds they need to be to have a dog. Agnes again doesn't seem to care or notice. Meanwhile, outside, Monica, Wu and Darcy are trying to figure out how to sneak into Westview again. Their conversation reveals that Monica doesn't like talking about Captain Marvel before she figures out that Wanda has been rewriting reality inside Westview. Monica discovers that her 70s clothes are made up of Kevlar. It's the material bulletproof jackets are made of, something she was wearing when she was sucked in. They hatch a plan to send in something that doesn't need to be changed to fit in. But back inside, Vision's questioning turns into using his powers on his colleague Norm, who reveals that he has a life outside, one where his sisters and parents need him. Norm asks to be saved from her, by which he means Wanda, and back at the Vision residence, the twins have questions of their own as to why their dad is off to the office on a weekend. Wanda tries to calm them by saying that couples can have problems at times, but that their father still loves them very much. The dog named Sparky runs to the door and begins to bark, prompting them to open the door and see what's happening. Monica has sent in a drone from the 80s in an attempt to talk to Wanda. But what she doesn't know is that her superiors, including Hayward, have weaponized it. The drone malfunctions at this point as Wanda takes control using her powers, prompting Hayward to order a missile launch. Monica is against this, but they don't have time for an argument as the PA system announces a perimeter breach. Cut to outside, where Wanda walks out of Westview for the first time, dressed the way she was in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. She speaks in her original accent, not the American one she's adopted inside. Wanda wants Sword to leave her alone as she means them no harm. Hayward notes that she's controlling people, to which she responds by saying that she's not the one with the weapons aimed at people. Monica tries to cool the situation down and position herself as a friend, but Wanda makes it clear that there's nothing Monica can offer her. In Westview, she has what she always wanted, though it of course comes at a considerable cost to others. Back inside, the twins are trying to look for Sparky, who's been lost, and when Wanda joins them, they come in contact with Agnes, who reveals a dead Sparky bundled in a cloth. The boys want their mother to bring the dog back from the dead, and they almost suggest that they know what she did with their father. forcing Wanda into a corner where she has to lie that death ought to be permanent and that you shouldn't reverse the dead. Then we come to what the episode was all building up to as Vision finally confronts Wanda about the situation. Vision says he doesn't know even who he is, prompting Wanda to respond, "You're a father and a husband, isn't that enough?" Wanda also denies that she's controlling everything in Westview, noting that she couldn't possibly control every aspect, even if she wanted to. They are interrupted by the doorbell, which Vision believes is a distraction created by Wanda to get out of this tough conversation. Wanda claims it's not her doing, but Vision's confidence in his wife has been reduced. As the bell rings again, Wanda gets up to answer the door and her face goes all pale as it's someone she doesn't expect, which is saying something given Westview is indeed at her will. The ending of WandaVision episode 5 reveals that it's Evan Peters as Quicksilver, as we mentioned before. Darcy, who's watching from a monitor, has a reaction that might match the audience. She recast Pietro, but that doesn't seem to be the case, as Wanda herself struggles to place him before saying Pietro. Quicksilver nods and hugs her, even though that wasn't his name when we last met him. So what is going on, and will someone tell us? Well, that's a story for WandaVision episode 6, and I think we are about to get deep into the multiverse. But that was my brief breakdown video explaining the plot and ending for episode 5 of WandaVision. This latest episode was one of my favourites of the season so far, as it seems that Marvel are really progressing the central story arc and character conflicts that we've seen develop since the start of the show. At the heart of this is the problems between Wanda and Vision, alongside making us rethink our perspectives on what really is going on. The added ending of Evan Peters as Quicksilver really throws everything out of the window, as we now know that there is something bigger at play, in what I suspect is the multiverse. We'll have to see, but I'm hoping they can continue this momentum and really keep focused on what makes this show work so well at the same time. I'm giving episode 5 of WandaVision an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown and review, and overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in episode 6 of the new Marvel show, which I will be covering on the channel next week. I'm also intrigued to hear all of your thoughts on episode 5, so let me know down below in the comment section, as well as listing your predictions for episode 6. For more content on WandaVision, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating. I will be covering every episode of Season 1, alongside bringing constant updates on all the new Marvel shows, so make sure to keep a lookout for whenever I post. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.